I'm very aware of the fact that whenever somebody thinks about what the best deck in the game is, the first thing they do is they log in and they check out Master Duel meta, they check what's topping events, they check your usage stats, they check that, and they just use that as their gauge as what the best deck is. Now, what a lot of people miss is that there's a lot of additional pieces lost in translation there from tournament type events, community style events, to the likes of the ranked ladder. If you were to ask me what the best deck on the ranked ladder is, I will tell you hands down, without a doubt, at this moment in time, it is definitely Labrynth. Now, bear in mind, this video was recorded before the release of Vanquished Souls and the Firewall support, so if the Firewall support turns out to be absolutely nutty and we have a math mech takeover, that may change, of course, right? This is pre-Vanquished Souls, and at the minute, Lab best deck. I'm sorry, it just is, right? You know, Purrely's really fucking good. Kashtira, decent but super overrated. D-Link is very strong and probably on the rise. It's going to get even better into the Math Mech meta, I can tell you that for fucking free. The Bestials are going to love Math Mech trying to take over because we're going to banish all their shit. But for now, at this moment in time, Lab best deck. That's just, I'm just putting it out there, right? You want to prove me wrong? Prove me wrong. But that's just my take, right? I'm going to show you some gameplay of this particular deck. I don't think this is the best way to play it, right? I think just playing it pure, maybe playing it with Wannabe was a really cool suggestion I got in the Discord. Playing it with, you know, lots of Karuma cannon. There's lots of ways of playing it. I think the Nadir Servant is probably not the way to go. But I think it's really fun, so I like it, right? So what are you going to do? Sue me. But yes, this is the deck we were playing. I've got some replays lined up, of course. We're all fairly familiar with Lab, but if you're not used to seeing it from the player side, you're going to get a little bit of an insight into how it actually works, and maybe you'll learn how to counter it as well. We'll talk about some of the weak points of the deck so that you're walking away from this, even if you're not going to play Labrynth, you're going to know more about Labrynth, and maybe even how to beat it and what the choke points are. So, if you're new to the channel, if you're interested in this style of content or anything else that we do here, be it live streams, be it our deck profiles, be it whatever it is that we do, of course you can hit subscribe to keep up with things as it comes out. It's free and easy and the most significant way of supporting the channel, so if you want to go ahead and do that, I would really appreciate it. You can also like the video as well if you actually end up enjoying what you're watching. You can find links below to our Discord, our Twitter, our DeviantArt, as well as our TikTok. If you want to get involved in all of these other platforms that we make admittedly less frequent posts on than YouTube, of course, but we do post things on those platforms as well. So if you want to get a little bit involved, by all means, hop in below. But I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty, getting into game number one here. I didn't pick these games for any particular reason or in any particular order, so I'm not going to know much more about them than you do. This is a rather straightforward replay of just normal summon a Dogclesia to get your punishment, set free pass. Pretty straightforward stuff, no lab cards in this hand, nothing super toxic. Playing against D-Link, I actually remember this game being quite good. We're going to punishment to take out as much of this field as possible. I was like really determined not to let him get into the Chaos Twins here, because the way I was looking at it, I was like, as long as he doesn't get the Chaos Twins, I stand a pretty decent chance of not allowing him to do any plays whatsoever, right? That was my thinking. So we take out the Seifert before we can use its effect, the Surge's deck for the Twins. We're going to hit the Chaos Space with an Ash Blossom. We're just doing everything we can to shut it down before he can summon a Twin. We're going to Saronir, send Lobelion. Going to use the Star Leech to try and grab back the Bestie Lobelion. We're going to use one of our call buys on that. Absolutely not. Fuck that shit. Going to get rid of that Lobelion before it can cause us any nightmares. Because that is what it would do. Abso-freaking-lutely. Gonna Chaos Space, they're gonna banish it, they're gonna shuffle back Lobelion, draw one, let's see if they actually have a play, and they just draw into it. I was so annoyed. They just drew into the very card that we were trying to stop them from getting. Lucky bastard, right? What can you say? They're just that guy. We're gonna go White Dragon and search the Black Dragon, Striker Dragon searching them a Boot Sector launch, and from here they're going to scale massively and generate a crazy amount of resources. Gonna summon out the Black Dragon, linking off, of course, into Dragunity Knight Romulus. That's why we have the Fleur-de-Lis. You're going to activate his cards, Chainlink 1 and 2. We're going to go Chainlink 3 for our Fleur-de-Lis, which will special summon itself to the field, as well as negating the effect of his Romulus. He is going to max Zeus here, which I'm totally fine with. I'll give him +1. I would rather not use my Call by the Grave here. I would rather save that for something else more notable. That's totally fine by me. Gonna grab a White Dragon that he can't even summon, that's fine. Romulus gonna be negated. Gonna use Boot Sector launch here, but unfortunately no rockets to summon, and just like that, no plays. You're going to draw into the big welcome Labyrinth. That is a hell of a card. We're going to attack with Fleur-de-Lis, 1800 over the Romulus, 2k to the face from our Ecclesia. Now we're able to set our big welcome and pass. We even still have our Call by the Grave should we need to stop the likes of an Ash Blossom. They're going to go for the Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. We're going to, during the... This was, I'm not sure if I did this correctly here. This may not have been the right play. We summon out, of course, the lovely Labyrinth. That's fine. Bouncing back Ecclesia so it doesn't get destroyed. We're going to use the lovely Labyrinth, taking out a card in his hand. We hit the Absol Rider, which was such a bad hit for us. That is so detrimental that we have to use our Call by the Grave just to negate it. That's so big, right? Because that would really have hurt us, and it uses up our Call by at a really suboptimal time. So it sucks to be me, I guess. But again, our opponent doesn't have a ton of plays. They're going to summon out the White Dragon here, link to in the Hieratic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres, and they're going to pass. So this definitely isn't nothing, because Seals not only is going to be able to bounce a card, it's also going to be able to summon a monster that's going to generate them additional value, and that's pretty damn big, right? They're going to bounce Lovely back to hand. We saw that coming. That's totally fine. We're going to go Ecclesia here from the hand. Ecclesia gets searching. They've got the freaking Gamma on deck, ready for the Ecclesia, summoning out the Gamma and the Driver, negating and destroying Ecclesia, which is a massive pain in the ass. They're able to summon out Magnamut here from the deck into the battle phase, taking out the Magnamut, boosting up to 3500. We're now in main phase 2, going to activate the Chandelier. We're going to drop it and the Lovely. We're going to set Big Welcome Labyrinth to the field once more. They're going to grab the Bestial Lobelion from their deck off of their Magnamut, but they do lose their Driver and Gamma. So we're sort of just banking on getting something big here. They're going to go for quick launch. We decided to go for a very early big welcome Labyrinth. I really wanted to snipe that Bestial Lobelion before he could fully utilize its effects. He's going to go for the Rocket Tracer here. We're bouncing back the Fleur-de-Lis, triggering off Lovely's effect as well as the effect of our Chandelier. He's going to go for Rocket Tracer here, popping the Boot Sector launch to summon an additional rocket monster from the deck. He pops it to summon the Caliber, and I sort of looked at Caliber and thought, but that kind of does nothing. So I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm going to take out the Lobelion. That's the bigger problem here. Into the main phase 1, and he didn't have any plays because we took out the Lobelion. We did not take the bait in popping a monster on board. Rocket Tracer is gone, and he does not have any follow-up. Turn number 7, going for Lovely's effect to reset Big Welcome to the field. We have regular Welcome already on the field, summoning out the Lady from the deck. We're going to use Big Welcome Engrave, sending Caliber back to the hand. We're going to use Lovely and Chandelier Engrave. We're now going to add Chandelier back to hand, and we're going to rip the card from the hand with the lovely Labyrinth that we just sent there ourselves, get rid of that shit, and I believe we're going to go battle phase, 29 to the face, 3k to the face. And that's just the crazy resource game of Labyrinth. We're able to snipe key resources at key 10s, we're able to shut him down, stop him from going any real plays, and he fucking tried his damnedest to combo off there. He really opened up some hard gas, but we were able to shut it down before it amounted to anything significant. Pretty good replay overall. Let's get in the game 2. Alrighty, getting into game number 2 here. We're actually going second. We were forced to go second up against none other than Galaxy Eyes. I couldn't have a game like this against the likes of Galaxy Eyes and not include it. Galaxy Eyes is the GOAT. Love to see another enjoyer. We are going to go into the Galaxy Photon Dragon here, get searching, dropping the jumper to the grave, going to search their deck for a Galaxy 100. We don't exactly have a ton of interruption for them here, but our hand do be kind of stacked. So they're going to grab a card from deck, they're going to go Galaxy 100, sending the Photon Emperor to the grave. Photon Emperor brings itself back, granting an additional normal summon this turn. They're going to go Trance bringing back the jumper, summoning out the Wizard from the deck, going into the Starliege Photon Blast Dragon, summoning out from the hand a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, letting them get a little peek at our extra deck, banishing our Aggregator. Now they're going to use these two to go into number 90, and they're going to pass. And this is pretty much a very standard turn 1 Galaxy Eyes board. They have an untargetable and indestructible field here with the monster negate in the form of the number 90. So we're going to go in, we're going to use our Nadir Servant, we're going to send Garura, we're going to grab Ecclesia here, we're going to use the Garura, draw one additional card, drawing in another Nadir Servant is whatever. They have the Sheesh, which is slightly problematic, but it does present an opportunity for us at least. We're going to special summon out the Ecclesia into defense, no point putting it in attack mode, and it actually can't be destroyed by the effects of any monsters summoned from the extra deck, which does give us a small advantage. They are going to grab a second copy of Trance from the deck. I kind of like Trance too, I'm not going to lie. Grabbing Fleur-de-Lis, We're going to go for Talent here. Talent taking control of that Photon Lord into the battlefield, swinging into that Galaxy Photon Dragon. He's going to use Hyper Galaxy to tribute both it and his Lord to go into the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. That's going to trigger again the Galaxy 100, as well as of course the Photon Emperor that was attached to number 90 as materials. Going to banish another card from our extra deck. 5-headed dragon is gone. We're going to go Emperor here. Emperor summoning itself out, granting an additional normal summon, which is no use during my turn, but we're going to set 3 and pass. So no Labyrinth cards on field just yet, but that's why we got the welcome card set. They're going to go into the Royal Rare Galaxy Eyes Soulflower Dragon. We're going to chain to that a welcome Labyrinth. Going to see if we can put a little lab monster on board so we can use our coup clock efficiently. Summoning out Lady Labrynth. They're going to grab Photon Orbital from deck and add it to hand. They're going to go Galaxy Trance now, paying 2,000 life points, summoning out the Brave as well as the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. At this stage, they're going to go for Galaxy 100 again, of course, to banish the Red Eyes 5-headed dragon. They're going to go for the Galaxy Eyes Afterglow Dragon. We're going to flip up Dimensional Barrier, chaining to that Our Lady, and chaining to that our Coup Clock. So basically in reverse order, this means that we can now activate a set trap this turn. We can go Lady Labyrinth to set the Daruyuma Cannon so we can use it later, and Dimensional Barrier to lock him out of Exceed. So now he can't even go for his lethal plays, going into the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon for an old-fashioned OTK, trying to swing. We're going to go big welcome, summoning out the Lovely. Lovely then, of course, bouncing back. Lady going to use its effect now. We're going to pop the Galaxy Eyes on the field. Main phase 2. They're going to go for Orbital, equipping it onto the Afterglow Dragon. At that stage, I think that's more than fine for us to go for the Daruyuma Cannon. End phase, summoning back out the Lady for follow-up. So now we're in a very, very strong winning position. Drawing Ariana for turn, flipping up Lovely and Ecclesia, grabbing back the Daruyuma Cannon from Grave since it's so powerful in this matchup. Grabbing another Coup Clock from deck. Again, I run 3 Coup Clock because it's just so good for playing on turn 0. Bouncing a card back to hand. Going to use the Lovely and the Welcome. Going to continue building and mounting and taking away advantage. Going to set Welcome straight to the field. Popping the remaining face down monster. Triggering the Jumper, which grabs them Numbers Last Hope. But he's going to need more than that to get through this turn. We have a bazillion attack points on board. At this point, we're just chaining and comboing for the sake of chaining and comboing. We're going to go for Lady Labyrinth, going to set Dogmatic Punishment to the field, welcome Labyrinth, summoning out Torby because we can use that on our 2 level 4s to go into the Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel banishing the Galaxy 100, going for Nadir Servant milling the Garura, grabbing back the Ecclesia, which we can now use to basically draw an additional card, drawing Punishment, which is fine, special summon the Ecclesia, nothing left to search, but that's fine. We're going to go Fleur de Lis just because we can, full board, full of monsters, 25 off the Fleur de Lis, and 3k off the Lady. And that was just more in an effort to show off the sheer amount and variety of plays that the deck can do, especially enabled by the Dogmatica package. But of course it is a mixed bag. The Dogmatica package, the main benefit in my opinion, not only is, well, the main benefit is the extra deck usage, right? Getting all of that additional value from the Dear Servant off of Punishment. But next to that, it also allows you to go into a full power Chaos Angel on occasion, which is pretty neat. So yeah, fun stuff overall. Let's get in the game 3. While I do believe that Labyrinth is overall a better deck than Purrely, that's not to say that the matchup comes without a challenge. We're going to go Maxi here during our opponent's draw phase. Of course they have Call by the Grave, because why wouldn't they? We don't have any way of countering that, unfortunately, so we're playing no longer with many Maxi in play, but we do have the Daruyuma Cannon and Call By, so I'm somewhat relatively confident still. Daruyuma is a pretty damn powerful card. They're going to go for Purrely Lee here. Purrely Lee going to target and grab themselves a My Friend Purrely from the deck. They're going to use My Friend Purrely, paying 500 life points, revealing Pretty Memory, and Pretty Memory from deck, so we're going to grab a copy of, you guessed it, Pretty Memory. Gonna target Delicious Engrave. We decide maybe this is a little preemptive. This is maybe where we mess up a little bit. We could have waited on this more, that's for damn sure. But we are gonna flip up the Daruyuma Cannon, and we sort of shotgun the Lady too early as well, which fucks us up big time, right? So there's a whole bunch of misplays we did right there. That segment could have been done a lot better, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm fully aware of that. And it does come back to bite me later. We're going to go Purrely, revealing the Pretty Memory. We're going to use that to go into E, Purrely, Beauty. Beauty then using its effect, targeting our face down Lady, which is not protected because of its own effect, due to the fact that our card is face down. And that leaves us with virtually no card advantage moving into this next turn, and that's going to be difficult to contest that beauty with no cards. We're going to grab the Chandelier from deck, which at first glance may give us a chance. It may give us some level of hope. We're going to go big welcome here, setting it to the field. They are going to go and try and stack up on that purrely beauty as much as they possibly can, and I don't blame them. That card is pretty damn scary. Going for my friend Purrely, paying 500 life points. We're going to reveal 3 random Purrely cards. We don't know which one they have to hand. They're going to normal summon the Purrely, so I can only imagine it was that. We're going to go big welcome Labrynth here, being met with an Ash Blossom, which is very unfortunate, but we do have Call by the Grave as a backup option to try and protect ourselves. We're going to target that Ash Blossom and get rid of it, but he's got Cross Out Designator for the Call by. He was simply ready, 3 steps ahead of us the whole time, negating Call by the Grave. So our negate of his negate is negated, and the Purrely resolves with no big welcome Labyrinth shenanigans occurring. And from this stage onwards, as I'm sure you can tell, it's not looking good for your boy. They're going to go into Noir, Happy Memory, Purrely Happiness, going to equip on some materials into the battlefield, 29 and 2k to the face. Again, we have maybe one more draw in us to see if we could potentially draw the out here. They're going to start equipping materials on, but again, it is a absolute slug match, fest, whatever. Top deck in the Imperm anyways, and I can't do anything. What can you do? As much as I do genuinely think Lab is a better deck than Purrely, I really do. I don't... I think Purrely is probably a stronger deck, but I think Labyrinth's consistency and the overall versatility of the of Labyrinth in a best of 1 format does lead to Labyrinth having an overall higher win rate on the ranked ladder. I do think Purrely just is an absolute juggernaut of a deck though, so I don't think it's in any way an easy decision to make or an easy call to make, but let's talk about more of that with the actual deck on screen. So let's talk a little bit about Labyrinth. So you're looking at this and there are some things here that maybe you don't fully understand. Like you'd be wondering, why are we running 3 copies of Clock? First of all, now why are we running all the different furniture pieces? Why are we running Dogmatica? Why are we doing X, Y, or Z, right? And it all comes just with the territory of what Labyrinth overall wants to do, which is control the game with traps. It's pretty straightforward, right? Crazy amount of advantage you can be generating. You want to play the long game and just outgrind your opponent, grind them down to 0, and eventually claim a dub, right? That's the idea. And there's a lot of different ways in which you can do that. Now, do I think the Dogmatica version is the absolute best way to go? Probably not. I've seen a lot of people have a lot of success with other versions of it, so we are going to be having a deck profile of this particular version towards the end. But what I'm going to talk about briefly is just some of what makes the deck so powerful as well as its position in the meta. And I think a lot of that at the minute resolves around the ability to play on turn 0, as they call it, which essentially means that if you lose the coin toss and you're forced to go second, technically you can still make plays going first, right? That's referred to as turn 0. Because it's before your first turn. Now, there are ways to make that even more consistent. We're running as many furniture pieces as possible. The overall idea is that if you have Coup Clock and access to a trap card on the field and a Labyrinth monster on deck, on the field as well, then you can start playing your trap cards as soon as your opponent's first turn, and you can start generating that advantage super early, and then just scale that into late game and hopefully just win the game, right? It's pretty straightforward stuff. It's not rocket science. So having a furniture piece and a Coup Clock by themselves is a 2-card combo, I suppose, where you will activate the Coup Clock, so it resolves, then you'll activate one of your Chandelier or your Torby, pitch them the Grave to set a card to field. That's going to trigger your Coup Clock's second effect to summon itself back to the board. Now you have a Labyrinth monster on board, you have a face down card, and Coup Clock's effect is active. So whatever face down card you just played, you can now activate right away. So if it's something like a Lovely, or like Big Welcome Labyrinth, summon out your Lovely, bounce back your Coup Clock, and you get to pop a card off your Lovely, and you haven't even had a turn yet. And then when it moves back into your turn, you've got Big Welcome and Grave ready to use, you've already got a Lovely on board, and you've got Coup Clock in hand ready to use, you've got Chandeliers added back to your hand, and Torby added back to your hand, whatever it is. So you just generate a crazy amount of advantage while disrupting your opponent's turn 1 play, and it's just nuts. And there are ways of making that better, and that is potentially something I would look into as we go along. And it's through a card like Wannabe, which is something that was recently pointed out to me. I would maybe drop the Dogmatica stuff in favor of this Wannabe card. I really like the idea of it, where basically during the end phase of a turn, you get the opportunity to check like the top 5 to 10 cards of your deck for a trap and then set one of them to the field, which works fantastically alongside your furniture and your coup clock and everything. It gives you even more turn 0 plays, which, you know, it's just ultimately phenomenal, right? It just feels amazing. So if I were to play the deck, I will play it something closer to this. After, you know, having played, I would obviously think about with the extra deck and tinker a few things around, but you get the idea. But the idea, it's not so much about the Dogmatica pieces, it's more about the Labrynth pieces and about the consistency of it, the furniture and how the coup clock and the furniture and the lovely just constantly loop advantage. If you wanted to play 2 lovely, I would get it. This card's nuts. I really would honestly like to play 2 lovely. I would maybe cut, you can't really cut cross out or call by because you really need them for Ash Blossom more than anything else. But if you wanted to like maybe play 2 wannabe, 2 lovely, 2 lady, I would totally get it, because this card is still the star of the show, right? A lot of people think it's lady. It's not. It's lovely. Lovely is the star of the show. But yeah, again, I'm not going to take up too much time here. If you want to see a deck profile of the Dogmatica version that we played in this video, just check the linked video above. It's going to have everything you need. If you're new to the channel, of course, you can subscribe if you want to show any sort of support. Get the deck profile above for the details. Subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.